Welcome back to Crypto Comics, all you beautiful people in Webtown. Today I have something very different. This is an independent comic I picked up through Indiegogo. If you're not familiar with Indiegogo, which I don't know how you couldn't be by now, but if you're not, it's a great place, a great resource for purchasing independently produced comic books. This is Ravage, Kill All Men, created by Benjamin L. Henderson, written by Chuck Dixon, and featuring art by Jimbo Salgado. Now, this has been a fairly polarizing book for some people. Rightfully so, including myself, were pretty pissed off that Ben did not deliver this book on time. He was months late in delivering this book. I mean months and months and months late delivering this book. On the plus side, he did send me 3 copies when I bought only one. This is the cover that I wanted. It's beautiful, isn't it? And he ended up sending me all 3 variant covers that they had. The Indiegogo exclusive covers and a direct edition version, which we're going to go through here today. There it is right there. Now, another thing that really grounds some people's gears is that this book was printed on newsprint, and that was never once mentioned in the Indiegogo campaign. So people basically ended up paying $8 for a comic book that cost 45 cents to produce. And that doesn't make people very happy. That doesn't make people very happy sometimes. They want value for their dollar. And I am confident that Ben has learned from this experience. Unfortunately, Ben has decided to step away from the comic book industry, which I didn't want to see that, dude. That's sucky. But, you know, there's a lot of drama in independent comic books. Thanks to some factions of Comicsgate. There's a lot of drama. It's a toxic cesspool thanks to some of these people in Comicsgate. And it's not worth the headache. It's just not worth the headache. And so ultimately, we lose people who have very creative minds, like Ben Henderson. I mean, I could harp on the guy, and you know, my friends know that I'm not happy with the product I received with this, as far as the timeliness of it goes, as far as the price point went, as far as having, you know, the book done in August and not finding a printer until the following year. There's no excuse. There's no excuse. Now, let's talk about the content, though. The art is great. I think Jimbo Salgado is a very talented artist. Chuck Dixon is a very talented writer. My main problem with this book, other than the issues with timeliness and the fact it's on newsprint, my only complaint about what's inside the cover here is that nothing really happens. Nothing really happens. And I feel that, now keep in mind, these are going to be some spoilers for some of you out there, but I feel that if this particular scene right here ended right here and it got to them landing on the island filled with beautiful women, the story would have progressed a lot more quickly and we would have had room for more action. The action that occurs here is really just, it's not necessary. Things happen in these pages. I don't need it. I don't need this part of the story. I want to get right into this part of the story. I would have just had them land and had the 2 guys in the back here. Like, there's this little subplot about how they're pushing cocaine secretly, and like these guys, the pilots, didn't know about it. The treasure hunters didn't know about it. And these 2, you know, they want to smuggle this coke somewhere, and it's just like, it's a subplot that is not important. It does not matter. Instead, what I would have done is I would have had them land the plane on the island, and I would have had these 2 jabronis slaughtered by the women, and then these 2 handsome, virile men captured and taken to the lovely queen so that they could be used for breeding, right? And here we see some different historical motifs, and I always like it when people incorporate different historical motifs. It's a very important part of everything I write, even if you don't realize it when you're reading what I've written. I've done hours and hours and hours of research on my subjects so that I truly understand the world they're inhabiting and the characters that inhabit that world. And so I always appreciate stuff like this, even if it was superficial, even if, Chuck Dixon, did an hour of research Nonetheless, I still appreciate that it's in there. This mixture of different cultures, Mayan and Egyptian, obviously. And I was just mildly disappointed because nothing actually happened in this dang book. They crash land a plane, they crawl onto the island, they're abducted, the end. You have to wait until issue 2 to see the women live up to what they've promised, which is to ravage, kill all men. We see no men killed in a book called Ravage, Kill All Men. So that was disappointing. It's also disappointing knowing that a second issue is in jeopardy because Ben Henderson has chosen to sell Cautionary Comics to a gentleman by the name of James Dean Anderson, who has his own book called Conflict, Claws Out, which has still not shipped, is still not finished. And so it seems like James has really gotten ahead of himself maybe in trying to start his own imprint when he hasn't even delivered a book yet. And I understand from my own experience as a writer that it's very important to have multiple projects in the pipeline because it's really the only way you're going to make any money in this business. But I certainly wouldn't buy a fledgling comic book company that's only produced a single issue that was months late and polarized many fans because of its tardiness and because of the fact that it was printed on a paper that was extremely cheap but people were charged a premium price for. I wouldn't have taken that leap, but James has chosen to take that leap, and that's his leap to take. And I wish him nothing but the best. He's a very, very, very talented artist. If you go look at Conflict, Claws Out on Indiegogo, you'll see that James Dean Anderson has great skill in his hand. And hopefully he has great business skills too, and is able to resuscitate Cautionary Comics and deliver on the promise of another issue of Ravage. At the least, just make it a 3 or 4 issue miniseries, but get it out. Like, let's get it going here. It's very unfortunate. If you would permit me to give you some commentary on my experiences with Comicsgate, it is very unfortunate what a clusterfuck Comicsgate has become. Where once there was an entertainment revolution in the making, there's now really nothing but, a dumpster fire. I mean, not to sound cliche, I know that's a very overused term, but man, if anything describes a dumpster fire, it's Comicsgate. And I'm not happy to say it. It's unfortunate because it was something that could have been a great opportunity. It has been a great opportunity for many independent creators. But it's been mired in politics, purity tests, and harassment of comic book creators by a very small faction who is supported by a very large platform, where everyone should have great business sense and a desire to work together to support one another. Unfortunately, it's not really there anymore. And unfortunately, because of all that drama, that entertainment revolution never actually came to be. It was stillborn. And the ramifications of that stillbirth are still being felt. Creators are still being attacked, still being damaged. Also, people can try to consolidate power under their own leadership, rather than be a community and actually support one another, without expecting to get their own pockets greased. But hey, if you're an independent comic book creator and you're not a total a-hole, hey, you're welcome to come on Crypto Comics, I'll host you. I'll talk about your books. I'm excited to meet any new creators. I'm excited to meet anyone who's passionate about their work and is excited to make friends in the comic book industry. Unfortunately, that's not going to be through Comicsgate because Comicsgate has been turned into a trash heap by very fragile, egotistical people who expect other creators to bow in servitude to them. So I'm sorry for going off on a tangent, but that's kind of, what's happened here. And that's one of the factors that led to Cautionary Comics' demise and the many schisms within the independent comics community. But that doesn't mean I don't wish Ben Henderson the best. He's got a lot of ideas for comic books. He's not afraid to contact talented veteran writers like Chuck Dixon and Mike Barron to work on his concepts. He achieved it. He did it. So what if it was late? So what if it's on newsprint? He fulfilled his obligation. This man got to live his dream for a brief moment and publish a comic book. It's unfortunate that he's decided to step away, but I have a feeling that we have not heard the last of Ben Henderson. I really feel that. I think his passion for comic books outweighs his frustrations and his anger at what's happened so far. And I hope he endures, because I'm sure that he has learned a lot about the industry, a lot about being a self-published creator, and a lot about who he should and should not trust in this world. So Ben, at the end of the day, hey, thanks for at least delivering, you know. So you were late. Okay. I gave you the business about it. But you know what? You delivered. And you weren't a pro. You're a guy who'd never done this before. And you did deliver. And I hope to hear from you again in the future. Now, if you bought Ravage Kill All Men, please tell me what you thought of it in the comments below. If you liked this review, hit that thumbs up. If you're new, subscribe, hit that ding dong for notifications. And I'm coming back with a ton more reviews this October, beginning October 3rd. It's Rob Liefeld Appreciation Month, right here on Crypto Comics. That's right. I'm going to provide you with over 30 awesome reviews of Rob Liefeld comic books from Image Comics, Maximum Press, and hopefully we'll even be able to get into awesome entertainment and maybe arcade comics too. Time will tell, right here on Crypto Comics. And don't forget, October 1st, your boy Crypto's comic launches on Kickstarter. It's Megawatt versus the Vampires of the Sun. And I truly hope each and every one of you who love the reviews I do, love these readings we do, will take the time to back our book. We need everyone to come out October 1st and support us, because if we can get a bunch of people to support us on that first day, it's going to shoot our campaign into the air, into the sky, like a rocket. We're gonna fly to the moon. But it can only happen with you and your help. The more people who support us on day one, the more other fans' eyes will be directed to our campaign on Kickstarter. So go to megawattcomic.com. That's megawattcomic.com, and it'll take you right to the Kickstarter campaign, starting October 1st. And I will see you again, right here on Crypto Comics. As my friend Risey would say, good eye.